Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Lots of news to delve into this afternoon with you. Donny Van de Beek has made some big demands at Man United. His agents have really opened their mouths again, but I actually think in a positive way, because we've now got some answers as to what's gone on with Donny Van de Beek. Why isn't he being played in the double pivot? Because he doesn't want to be in the double pivot. They see him as a 10. He's at Manchester United to be a 10. And of course, he's got to get into that team in front of Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. We're going to delve into those comments in this show. We're also going to look on what has just been said by Fabrizio Romano. Youri Tielemans is a target of Man United, along with many other big clubs in the Premier League. A lot of clubs in the Premier League going to be looking at him over the course of this forthcoming transfer window that's on the horizon. So we're going to be delving into that in more detail as well. Lukaku reportedly out injured, may miss the Aston Villa game this weekend. And also an update on Antonio Conte and his potential move to Arsenal. Some outlets over the weekend, including the Mirror, the Daily Telegraph, had made claims that Arsenal have made steps and inroads into trying to bring the Italian in as the replacement of Mikel Arteta, as his future looks up in the air. We had our very own Mark Bosnich on the show, who says it's the type of manager that Arsenal should be going for. But Fabrizio has really shared the information from the agent of Antonio Conte that says no such agreements are in place. I'm joined by KJ this afternoon. We want to take your calls, get in any questions you have for us. We're going to open up the lines very soon for you to have your say as well. But smash that like and that share button. Football Terrace phone-ins are back. And we've got a brand new show tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen, 9 o'clock. Legacy settings are at play. We do the tiering shows as normal. It's very similar to our tiering shows, but we are going to be placing legacies. Player A versus player B, who has the best legacy or who will have the best legacy in the future. And tonight, Mo Salah versus Eden Hazard is on the agenda. We've got an amazing lineup at 9 p.m. tonight, so make sure you're tuning in. KJ's here with me next. Smash that like and that share button, people. Let's do this. Yes, KJ. How you doing, bro?
I thought it was only right to wear the Ajax third kit for this kind of show. You know what I mean? Talking about Donny Van de Beek. I know it's going to wind up a couple of fans of either team that are wearing this, but hey, it's wavy, fam. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
It definitely is a nice kit. It's probably the closest I've ever been to buying another club's kit in my life. It's a very, very nice kit. There's no doubt about it. But there's lots to delve into, lots of stories to talk about today, circulating in the media. And the first, I want to start with the first one, which is Donny Van de Beek, because we all kind of woke up or went to bed, depending on what time you sleep, really, to sort of news about his agent speaking again about his time at Manchester United, what's going on at the club. And literally has said, the FA Cup and just European games, that's not the player that he is. He's not here for that. He is a 10. Openly stated that he is a 10. And that's where he wants to play in the 10. And what I thought when I saw these comments, they did a lot of other talking. Ollie said he would change his style or would change the system maybe, blah, 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 blah. But my view, the one thing that stood out massively to me in these comments was the agent has openly admitted that Donny Van de Beek wants to be a 10, wants to play at the edge of the box. That's all that's been ripped into today by Marco van Basten, who has simply said, we're talking Marco van Basten here, who has said that Donny Van de Beek just isn't good enough in the Premier League yet to play in that position. And the great thing about this news for me is that it answers that kind of weird long question that Man United fans have been posing for over 12 months. Why doesn't he get more game time? Well, if you want to be the number 10, that's why he's not starting over Fred and McTominay in the middle, in the pivot, because that's not where him and his agents see him. That's not where they want to play. And currently he's got Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in front of him in those advanced positions. For me, there is no more debate anymore. Now that we've heard his agent speak about the position that he wants to be in, it makes complete sense why Donny barely plays, because he is not as good as Bruno and he is not as good as Paul Pogba.
Well, it depends how you interpret those comments. The one about especially being a 10, it was more of they went to look for a move to Everton and said, there's a number 10 spot open there, so let's go there to play football. Now, you can interpret that as saying, well, I just want to get as much football as I possibly can. There's a spot, boom, it happens to be number 10. Or you can interpret it as, actually, no, he wants to be number 10. Subtle, you know what I mean? You got to be, football is subtle. It's a subtle game in the press. So you can take it how you wish. My view is this, though. My view is this. football fans cry out for transparency. They cry out for they want to know what's going on. People have some honesty. As soon as agents start to do that on the behalf of their players, or maybe sometimes not even on behalf of their players, but coming out and speaking about what's going on with their player, people start to cry. I've already seen people start going on that Donny Van de Beek telling his agents to shut up. Well, maybe he needs to get good enough. Maybe he needs to adapt. Hey, listen, I'm all for transparency, bro. Now we all know what's going on. Now we know what's gone down. Now it's two things need to happen. One, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to be playing Donny Van de Beek because, again, he alluded to promises being made. Now, that might be a setup for the media to try and jump on that and be like, well, if he's not getting played, clearly Ole's a liar. But I believe he should be getting played. But on Donny Van de Beek, he needs to show why his agents are speaking. Because if he gets this opportunity, if Ole does play him in the 10 or in the 8 or wherever he is, and he does not perform, you cannot sit there and have your agents coming out and speaking. Because it's kind of like, what did you speak for? You're wasting your words. So Ole needs to play him, but Donny needs to shape up. Because let's be honest now. It's not like he's been pulling up trees every time he's played. Last season when he played, there was a few occasions where you would be like, oh yeah, that was really good. I remember the pass, the flick for Mata for the goal against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. The step over in terms of allowing the ball run through his feet for the goal against Leicester in the FA Cup. And then the part he played in the goal against Newcastle, that brilliant counter-attack we had. Wonderful moments, yes. But can we fully sit here and say when he got his chance or when he did play, he played so well that there's no way that Ole could never play him again? No, we didn't. So Marco van Basten, I think, has been harsh. I think Donny Van de Beek is good. He's a good player and he could definitely adapt to the Premier League in time. But we can't sit here and, like many fans are doing, acting like he's the second coming of flipping skulls or something, you know? Like he still needs to adapt as any other player. He still needs to show us what he can do in the 10 games that he has.
I totally get where you're coming from there. For me, I've always looked at him as an attacking midfielder. I know he can play in a deeper role. When I've watched him for the Netherlands in those deeper roles, it's always hard to judge because the problem is with a lot of European games, World Cup qualifiers, Euro qualifiers, it's a bit like watching England yesterday against Andorra. You're not really getting a real sense of how good anybody is because they're not playing against top-class opponents all the time. When I've been most impressed with Donny, it was in the Champions League for Ajax when he was playing in an advanced role in and around the edge of that box. That's where I truly think he wants to play. That's where I truly think he wants to be. That's where I think his best position is. The problem is he's not as good. He's not on Bruno Fernandes's level, and he's certainly not on Paul Pogba's level. Technically, you could argue he's better on the ball than Bruno. But this is when you're in an attacking position in football, it's the game of outputs. And with Bruno's outputs, man ain't going to be dropped. What I do find interesting was the comments from the agent about Ronaldo being bad for Donny coming in.
Yeah.
Which I thought were very strange because I was like, actually, I see it being the other way. Ronaldo coming in might give Donny Van de Beek an opportunity. A lot of people have suggested that the goals might start to dry up for Bruno because the system may now tweak where it all and the final piece of the jigsaw is Ronaldo and not Bruno. So maybe actually Bruno's biggest strength of being clinical in front of goal is then mitigated and Ronaldo's doing it. Therefore, maybe a player with more subtlety, more ability, and better ball retention, which I do think Donny has over Bruno, comes into play. What I find very interesting is when Pogba's agent talks, it's about essentially saying, we want to win and be elite, and if this club isn't ready to be elite, we're going to leave. With Donny's agent, it's just moaning all the time that his player isn't getting the opportunities that he wants. And I do look at players. You always get fans say things like, why doesn't my favorite player get more opportunity? He's probably just not doing enough on the training ground. Probably isn't impressing enough when he's being given the chance. I don't believe in this, not when it comes to Ole, I don't believe in this bully culture because the dressing room is too collective and too together for Donny to be bullying a player. It doesn't make sense to me. But viewers, we want your thoughts and your feelings on the Donny Van de Beek situation. Does he want the 10 role? Does he deserve a run of games? What do you want to see happen? We are going to share the link now. We're going to start taking calls very, very soon for you to come on and have your say. We're going to put the link to call into the show in the comments section now. I'm going to type out call in. Where are we at? There it is. Call in now. That's shared. I think. Yeah, that's shared. I'm going to copy it in case it didn't come through. That's been shared in the comment section. I'm going to pin it as well. I'm going to pin it into the comment section so you guys can just click on that and phone in. We're going to start taking calls soon. Also coming up today, we are talking Antonio Conte to Arsenal. We're going to talk Youri Tielemans' transfer, Lukaku being out. But the next big subject we have to touch on is what happened yesterday, the madness that happened yesterday in Brazil with these Argentinian players. Smash that like and share button. We're going to jump into that right now. Bro, players detained, games called off, Premier League players lying about where they've come from, quarantining and whatnot. What went on yesterday?
Absolute foolishness. You know what I mean? Like, wait, who says the CONCACAF, the CONMEBOL, and the CAF are not entertaining football bodies and football competitions, bro? Like, absolutely scenes, always madness going on in those competitions, but absolute foolishness all around. I'm saying it from everyone: Premier League, the players, the governing body of the health governing body of Brazil, the Brazilian FA, the Argentinian FA. All of them have played this completely wrong. The communication was completely off. And what happened yesterday is an absolute farce. Absolute farce. You're telling me that they was there for 3 days or how many other days? For one, they didn't realize that they were there, or they did, and didn't clock. And then two, couldn't get them in time before the game. Like, come on now. Governing bodies around the world, ever since COVID, have been doing a madness. Actually, no, let me correct that. They've always been doing a madness. You know what I mean? There's always something going wrong in all countries. And this is just an example of one of them where there's miscommunication everywhere. The players themselves, part of me feels for them because they actually got stuck in a rock and a hard place. You've got the Premier League saying they don't get punished if they go on to international duty. And then you've got the national team body, the Argentina FA, saying, well, if you don't come, then you might miss out on the World Cup. You know what I mean? You will get punished as well. So they're going to get punished either way from someone. So they just had to pick who they would rather represent. And they picked Argentina, clearly. Them lying about their situation, not good. But do I believe that Argentinian FA could have pushed them in that direction? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I mean? So they were stuck in a hard place, a definitely hard place.
I have no sympathy for the players.
Yeah.
They lied. Definitely agree that they've had pressure put on them from the wrong people. How it went that far, there was a report 12 hours before the game kicked off that if they were on the pitch, they would be remanded. How can the Daily Mail know this was going to happen, but it still be allowed to happen? So if the Daily Mail in England knows about this, clearly local authorities in Brazil know about this. How they get into the as if when they got to passport control, they didn't know who these England, Brazil, Argentina, massive rivals. They play each other on a yearly basis in big games, World Cup qualifiers, Copa Americas, etc. They know who these people are. They let them in. It was even in the report I read about 4 hours before the game. They even said, if the game starts, then it'll be stopped. It's like, if they're, they haven't quarantined because when they played their last game for Spurs and the dates, how anyone let it get that far is an atrocity. So I think the Argentinian FA, all the FAs, by the way, of any countries, and I'm not too sure of who's in red zones or what, but it's like the Premier League saying to certain players, you can't go on international duty because of the zone your country's in. That's bang on. Because the clubs pay your salary, the fans of those clubs pay your salary. You leaving to go on international duty is going to be damaging to that. And I think they're right to put that kind of ban on. Did they do it in the right way? No, because it felt like it was announced publicly they were banned from going before the players were told. So again, that's wrong. But I still look at these players and think to myself, you have lied at a border to go and play a football match. Still during, like in England, we feel like we're past our pandemic now because of everything that's gone on, right? But some parts of the world are still in the midst of a proper lockdown pandemic. And it's like, it's wrong that they've just lied to get in and everything else. And then it caused that situation yesterday where it was, honestly, I've never seen anything like it in my life. Never seen anything like it in my life. And then on top of that, the Argentinian players are moaning, what you doing? Like, the Brazilian authorities have got the absolute right to, like, remove you. It doesn't matter you're a footballer. If I get into a country in any way illegally, right, whether I lie about quarantining, lie about like vaccine passports, or just lie about having a visa, whatever it may be, if you're caught just because I'm in the middle of a game of football, no, you're going to be detained. Mad, like legitimately mad. Madness.
Argentina FA could have at least not played them. You know what I mean? If you really wanted the game to go ahead and you knew this was going to happen, they didn't have to play them. They could have been like, all right, cool, I know you guys are here, but to be on the safe side, we'll put you on the bench, or you're out of the squad, or something. You know what I mean? Like, you could have done all of that to avoid all of this, or I would keep it off the pitch. The fact that they made it a public spectacle is what makes it even worse. And in all of these things, everything's just a snowball effect. And listen, I know it's easy to bash like everything that happens in England because it's England, but we still have to look at. For me, it's like the Premier League. If you spoke to the players beforehand about the decision that you're going to make, and discussing them, because I know a lot of players, like someone like Cavani and these Argentinian players, they playing for the country is such an honor. It's like something they love to do. If you spoke to them beforehand, get them to understand why they're doing it, then announce it. Players ain't going to do up sneaky, getting into like lying to get up into countries and that. And then it'll be less blurry lines when they do break the rules. It's like, well, we clearly explained, you said yes, and you've still gone against your word, you're in the wrong. But everyone in this whole situation has a part to play, and it just shows that football organizations, they need to clean up.
Well, there was a super chat here that says, Terry, the other side of the story, the players are saying that the authorities at the airport didn't tell them the rules clearly. But my view is this: my son lives in Ireland, and when I had to travel to pick him up from Ireland, it was my responsibility to know the rules. What I found is that as long as I didn't leave the airport in Dublin, I didn't have to quarantine. So as long as I stayed in the airport and waited for him to arrive, I didn't need to quarantine. That was essentially the rules. But it was like, if I left the airport and got caught leaving the airport, then I had to quarantine for 14 days before I was allowed back in the airport. It's down to me to learn this. Now, these football players, multi-millionaires, they work for multi-million pound turnover clubs. They've got PAs. They've got private jet access. They've got no excuse to not know the rules around this. And the fact there's 4 of them and they all got it wrong. No, they tried, for me, they've tried to pull a bit of a fast one and they've been caught. And I think the Brazilian authorities let the game get to that point before to make an example, to embarrass them, to make an example of them. And now, as Leaf's saying, it looks like they could miss now up to 4 league games for Tottenham. Like, you know, Spurs are the ones that are now going to suffer because of this. And the fans of Spurs are going to suffer because of this. And also the fans that paid to watch that game last night in Brazil were suffering because of this. Always the fans end up suffering. Aaron here says, I wonder who advised them all to lie. Are the players getting match bans? I don't think it's match bans. I think they've now got to quarantine when they come back for a certain amount of time. I don't quite know what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if something changes. Winston here says, KJ's shirt, though, fire. Loving the shirt there, my friend. We've got a number of you backstage. We're going to bring you on to speak very, very soon. Lots of subjects to get through today, but smash that like and share button. We're talking Donny Van de Beek and the number 10 claims. We're talking the Argentinian debacle that happened last night. Next on the agenda, though, we're talking Antonio Conte to Arsenal. Hit that like and share button right about now. Let's do this. So Antonio Conte to Arsenal is an interesting one because the Telegraph have spoke about the groundwork being done on this deal. They've spoken about how Arsenal have looked at it as a possibility. There's 3 or 4 games for Mikel Arteta to save his job. There were then reports over the weekend from Spain suggesting that a pre-agreement is in place. But the agent now of Conte has systematically come out, shut this. I mean, he shut that down fast. It was a Sunday, day of rest. He's Italian, I think, so I'm going to assume here that he's Catholic, and I'm going to assume that's an important day. I could be wrong to assume that, but they've shut this down now. Like, not happening, no agreement. Do you think it's time now for Arsenal fans to completely 110% forget about Antonio Conte, or is the sort of denying all they've said is there's no pre-agreement? Oh, there's no agreement yet. Do you still think there is a genuine interest? Do you think there is an element of there are talks, there are early conversations about Conte coming in, and everyone's just trying, like, the Conte camp is just trying to not be disrespectful to Mikel Arteta that's still in his job? Like, what do you think? Do you think Arsenal are going to try and get him? Do you think he's even got 3 games to go? What's your take on this big story?
Yo, you've been out, you've been on a night out with the lads. You know what I'm saying? You walk into the bar, you see a nice woman that one of your mates is interested in. So what do? You go over and you try and see how she's doing. You know, how you doing? What drink do you want? All this stuff. Put down the chat. You can have all that early conversation if you want. But if she's not interested, she's not interested. All that there's no pre-agreement. All that groundwork, you can put in all that groundwork all you like, but as soon as she gets a drink from you and she dips, you just left with your hands in your pockets. It's like, well, I didn't get a girl, did I? Like, it don't matter. I do not believe Antonio Conte is going to go Arsenal. The Arsenal can be putting the whispers out. They can be saying, oh, I'm interested. Yo, I can give you this. I can give you that. Antonio Conte's just like, all right, cool, isn't it? And he's just going to walk away. Because that club right now is not a club that a manager of his stature should be going to. You can see what's going on. You can see it's a mess. And why would you go in there and trust anything that them man say? Like, there is no grounds as a manager of his stature to be like, Arsenal is the one club that I want to go to because I know that they'll give me X, Y, and Z and I can turn it around. No! They've got them shaving money off the top of transfer fees. They're doing up fraud. They're doing up fraud at Arsenal. And you're telling me Antonio Conte is going to walk into that? No, bro. No. His agent came out, said they said there's no pre-agreement, no nothing. Just tell them, I ain't interested. Leave me alone. That's what he's saying, bro.
See, I look at it the other side to you. I think this is respectful from Antonio Conte's camp. I think this is, let's not act like we've done the deal now. They may not do the deal now, but I feel like Arsenal are working on it. I feel like, I mean, it could end up biting them in the back. I'm not saying it's done, by the way. I'm not saying there's a pre-agreement. I'm saying that they've also said there's no official approach from Arsenal. And this is what makes me suspicious, very suspicious, is the no agreement, no official approach from Arsenal. You know, they've been in the original story here from Freddie Paxton from The Guardian, 442, ESPN, Indie Sport, Times, respected guy. He's very clear, no official approach. And I think that's all true. I think Arsenal don't want it to be seen as official because regardless of how good or bad your manager is, when you start shopping for a new coach, when you've still got a manager in play, it always leaves a sour taste in people's mouths. I think Arsenal are going to try and sign him, but I'm worried for Arsenal. Right now, forget the no agreement, forget the no official approach. We know there's never a bloody official approach until it's done. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's the way now clubs do this. I think Arsenal are going to sack Mikel Arteta in the next 5 games. If he doesn't pick up his result, I think he's gone. I think they're going to try and get Antonio Conte, but I think it's going to fall through. I think it's going to end up being a disaster. I think they're going to put a lot of energy and effort in groundwork, like you've said. I think they're going to go for it. And I just think Antonio Conte, when it becomes official, might think, my example is this. You ever dated someone where it's like, when it's a bit of a secret, it's kind of fun and exciting. Oh, we're going to go public. Oh, no, I don't want to be seen out with you, really. I don't want to be seen out with you. I don't mind going to your house and doing a bit of Netflix and chill. But actually, do I want to be seen at a restaurant with you? I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like there's genuine interest from Arsenal. I believe via intermediaries there's been conversations. I don't believe there's an agreement right now. I think when Arteta gets sacked, they're going to go for Antonio Conte, but I think he's going to reject him. And it's going to... I think he's going to reject him. That's the way I think this is going, 100%.
Yeah, I don't disagree that Arsenal are interested. Bro, like, I'm interested in my German fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, Even if I put all the groundwork in, it ain't happening. You know what I mean? It ain't happening.
Speak for yourself on that one. Speak for yourself on that one, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Don
listen,
Terry
here. Tom Terry, my ass, bro. He ain't getting nowhere with my Jammer fam. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay.
Honestly, no, 100%. She. I won't bad talk. Jester here says both Argentina and Brazil are on the red list, so players must quarantine for 10 days regardless. Conte doesn't want to coach at a former big club. Hear what you're saying there. We are going to calls very, very soon. There was another super chat that came through. There's a couple more here. KJ, where can I buy that Ajax kit?
The Adidas shop.
Yeah, or probably Ajax's website as well.
Yeah.
Probably sell it. Mike Hill says, call me crazy, but I think Arsenal will get Bielsa.
Now, I think Bielsa, didn't he sign a new contract with them recently as well? I might be just
might have done.
Imagining things, but yeah, I think Bielsa knows where his bread is buttered. Have you noticed he never goes to a massive club? You know what I mean? But actually saying that, maybe Arsenal ain't a big club anymore to him, so he might go. But he knows where his bread is buttered, and the Leeds family and the Leeds club love him, so I don't think he'll leave. See, if I'm Arsenal now, Terry, if I'm the man in charge, because I don't want to be Eddie or I don't want to be Josh Kroenke either. So if I'm KJ in charge of Arsenal, I'm looking at the mess that I've come into. And in terms of manager replacements, I'm getting Graham Potter. He's at a level where you could easily poach. Brighton, you still ask for what? 10, maybe 20 million to get him out of contract. Cool. Pay that. You'll get him in. He's had known visible impact at nearly every club he's been to. You saw it at Östersund, you saw it at Swansea, now you see it at Brighton as well. He's got that ethos inside of him to help change your club. Bring that in. Cultivate. If you're going after this whole young squad building for the future narrative that they got going right now, having no targets, no objectives for the season except future, then go get a manager who's got a clear, bright future, because Arteta, his future is not bright.
And bruv, do you know what's interesting? The Graham Potter thing is bang on. That's who they should be going for with the situation they're in. But they're not well run. I think they'll get rejected by Conte. But they could also land him. Like it's a possibility. And it will send the message out. But I think it's a hollow message. If they get him, it'll be embarrassing to get rejected by Antonio Conte. But if they land him, I'm going to make this prediction now. If they land Antonio Conte quits within 3 months.
Ooh.
Away within 3 months, because I think they're going to make him promises they can't deliver. But by the way, if he joins in the April, the 3 months carries over to next year. I think within 3 months he quits Arsenal, because that club, they're charlatans. No season expectation. It's bullshit. Like it's honestly, like that's what I think will happen. I think Antonio Conte might be convinced this is a great club, big club. They want to get back to the top. They see me as this example. Maybe they're going to give me this. They're going to give me that. I think he's going to sit there for 3 months, watch their operation from behind the scenes and say, I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Do you know what I mean? I'm a proper manager. Get me out of this place. Do you know what I mean? Ant and Deck, come save me. Get me out. Like, honestly, they need to go for Graham Potter. They need to go for a manager who is at the level that Arsenal Football Club are now at and rebuild from that position upwards. Bringing in someone like, it doesn't always work. Like, it's mad, right? Sometimes people say things like, if you're a small club, like lower leagues, sign like a Premier League player to come save you. I don't think it'll ever work. You take a Premier League player away from his amazing dressing rooms and training complexes and put him in a League Two team where at away grounds, there's no hot showers, all cold showers because the clubs can't afford to turn on the hot water. I think they suffer because they're used to those creature comforts you get at the highest level of the game. I read somewhere once that, when Chelsea players open up their locker rooms, there's this little like squirt of like this like highly expensive fragrance that gets squirted out. Like the room smells nice. Like I read that. It might not be true, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Like why would that not exist in those dressing rooms? Like you suddenly stick these guys in a dressing room where the benches are broken, the windows broke, there's no hot water. Like literally,
the person spraying you fragrance is like some old man, the kit man.
Wow, they've literally got man in the toilets giving that lollipop. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones there. Like, and at the end of the day, it's like for me, when I see these things, I'm like, that's how I look at the situation at Arsenal. I think the most dangerous thing for them right now would be to appoint someone like an Antonio Conte and then Antonio Conte exposes all the bad things. So then, the moment there is still this element of denial. Oh, maybe it ain't as bad as you'll think. Conte exposes how bad things are at Arsenal, and it gets messy. But viewers, we've got a lot of you backstage. We are going to start taking your calls very, very soon. We're going to touch a little bit on Naby Keita a little bit later. A little bit of because man's literally being held by the military. I mean, what's going on this international break? Military coup. Why are these players being, I'm not saying allowed to travel, like the Home Office should be stopping them, but be sensible, like legit be sensible. Like if I right now, like, Terry, where are you going to speak? And I'm going Spain. Brother, there's a military coup. I ain't going Spain. I ain't going. I'll go Bognor Regis. I'll go Clacton. Now I'll go back to Canvey Island. I'm not going where there's a military coup going on. In fact, I wouldn't go to a country that had a conflict in it, of any sort. Do you get what I mean? Like, if I was in America and I was meant to be flying back to England, bro, there's riots all over the country. I ain't coming back. I'm not. I ain't taking a risk. But we'll get onto that a little bit later. We're going to talk Lukaku later on the show as well. We're going to go to some of your calls now, though. What I need from you is that big fat like button smashed. Smash the big like button. Let's get this past 500 likes. We're talking Donny Van de Beek. Where should he play? Should he be given the chance? I've given my point of view already. I believe the debate's done. He's a number 10. He's not as good as Bruno. He's nowhere near as good as Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. So that's why he's on the pine pony. That's why he's on the bench. Debate over. Anyone else tweets about it now to get him muted? Number 10. KJ disagrees with me, by the way, but that's cool. You're here to have your say. We're talking the Argentinian debacle. What does it mean for Spurs? And, of course, Aston Villa. We're talking about Youri Tielemans maybe coming to Man United. Arsenal, what you're going to do about your managerial situation. Please phone up on one of them subjects and not randomly phone up to say, Terry, I want to ask you a weird question about cats or something. Someone did that yesterday. The question had no attachment to the show. Let's jump straight into this, people. Let's go. Donny James is on the line with us now. What are you saying, Donny James?
Terry, great to be back, first of all. Work's going good at the minute. One of the members of JLS like one of my tweets. It's all going good. I'm loving that.
Which one?
I need to double check his name.
How do you must know?
His name literally escaped my mind in the last second. Oritz Williams.
Okay, so my sister was a massive JLS fan. I think that's Orishe.
Yeah,
he's Orishe. He's Orishe.
You know. But you know what? I'm feeling mentally better because on deadline day, I was given so much abuse privately about, different opinions and things like that. So it took a big toll on my mental health. So I feel a lot mentally better, a lot stronger, especially with some more positive stuff coming out of the club now. I feel more mentally stronger that I've risen above the abuse.
Was that abuse from other Doncaster fans?
It was from Donny. It was from Donny fans. Yeah, it was private messages. Telling me to do this, and this. So I was just rising above it and thinking positively instead.
Good. Well done, you. Well done, you. What are you here to say today, other than speak about Orishe?
Well, first of all, we've signed a striker. Joe Dadu. Don't know if you remember him from the Rangers and Wigan and old Leicester. He used to play with the manager at Leicester.
Leicester kid. Yeah.
Anyway, our manager was a veteran player at Leicester City when he was playing as a kid. So yeah, that's a good sign, and he knows the lad. So I can't wait to see him play tomorrow at Papa John's Trophy. On Donny Van de Beek. Look, it's gonna be very hard to get in front of Bruno Fernandes at the minute. Bruno is just another level of class. And look, Donny Van de Beek's still young. He's still got time to develop. He's still got time to gain experience. And there will be games this season where Bruno takes a step back, Donny Van de Beek takes a step in. I would be very shocked if Ole picks other number 10s ahead of Van de Beek. People like Juan Mata, and that's no disrespect to Juan Mata, because I think with Mata, he hasn't got the pace anymore, but what he has got is technical ability, so he replaces pace with technique, and sometimes that technique could come in handy ahead of pace sometimes when you're playing against like maybe a slower team and you need to sort of have more technical ability to break down teams. So Mata's good for that, but I would be very surprised if Van de Beek didn't get at least a few games at the cam position this season. On the Argentine situation, look, I don't want to get into all of that because it's all political stuff, and I don't. As soon as I get into politics, I'll go on a mad rampage about Boris and what he's not doing for this country.
Yeah.
So I'll leave the political stuff at the side of it. People have their own opinions on it. Obviously, you guys put it in the live chat what your opinions are on that. Lukaku potentially being injured. Obviously, you'll get onto that later in the show. Potentially, that could be very damaging for Chelsea, and we'll see what happens. But we're back in club action this weekend. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some good games going on. We've got Wigan at the weekend, which is going to be one of Dudu's former clubs, believe it or not. So we're facing Rotherham in the Papa John's Trophy on tomorrow, and then on weekend we got Wigan, and I'm literally going straight from work to the match tomorrow. So that should be a fun
enjoy that, brother. Enjoy that. Thank you for calling in, having your say, Donny James. Take care of yourself, mate. Thank you much indeed. Next on the show, we're going to get Tyler. Tyler's on to have he say, man's got a straw hat on. I'm so impressed. Look at this. Tyler, welcome back to the terrace. And let me remind everyone who you support. You're mute, brother. You're mute.
Oh, it's not going well for him at all right now, is it?
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, come on now. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on? Tyler here from America, a huge Chelsea supporter. Been a Chelsea fan since about 2011. Just wanted to say big ups to you guys on the terrace, man. Like the stuff that you guys do with the Friday night and just all the shows you guys do. I just went and looked at your guys' views today, and I can't believe how little views your guys' show has. It is amazing, and I see you guys going really far. I just want to say thanks for everything you do. And as far as the Arteta situation goes, I don't see him hanging on much longer, but I don't see Arsenal getting a top tier coach until they replace their owners and a lot of more people and the Arsenal club in general. I don't think the manager is the main problem.
Okay.
I think that's a fair point about the situation in terms on the views. Yeah, like I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment. Look, it is, mate. Someone here says backhanded compliment. No, it's not a backhanded compliment. What he said is like, you should have more, and I appreciate that. Like, we're quite.
You should have way more. I mean, you guys put so much into your show; it's amazing.
I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. I think on the Arsenal situation, it's like the owners are the biggest problem, which is why I think landing a star manager in the short term could be very painful, because I think someone like Antonio Conte would walk away because he's done that at other clubs, but I think he would walk away so quickly. There'd be no. It could actually be a good thing though as well. It could almost be the straw that breaks the camel's back and completely just awakens Arsenal fans from focusing on Granit Xhaka and Arteta, which I get why they dislike them now, but there's still far too much weight on the manager and not the overarching problems. Even Edu gets a lot of stuff. It's like, yeah, but who employs Edu? It's the owners, and they're happy for these levels to be there. So totally get you there, Tyler. Thanks for the compliment, mate. Really appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on. Smash the like
button. No worries,
guys.
mate. Top man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Egal is now with us here. Egal, what you saying, bro?
Oh, no.
I'm here. Don't worry. Guys, this is what I'm saying. I'm not selling anybody false hope. But when you hear reports about no contract has been agreed, but nobody actually shuts down the possibility of him joining Arsenal, there's still a possibility. So as much as you guys are saying he would not join, KJ, as much as Terry's saying he might join, but he might leave, I'm still thinking nobody has shut it down. If it would be easy for them to just be like, you know what, Arsenal is in a tough situation right now. We don't see our representative going there or something like that, shutting it down completely. But they're not going to do that. That's not smart business from their perspective. So if Arsenal are serious about Antonio Conte, it is attainable. It is Antonio Conte looking to join Arsenal at this moment. Where else would he go? That's the question I would ask you.
Where else would he go? To the beach, bro. That's better time spent than being an Arsenal fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, go relax, take time out of football. You just won the league. You don't need more stress on your head. Listen, you had to go Turkey for a reason because your hair was falling out. Go Arsenal, it'll be gone. You know what I mean? Completely gone. Antonio Conte, listen to me. You don't need to go Arsenal. You know what I mean? Relax yourself. And that's where he's going. He's going to the beach, bro. Like, he literally, when you're a top class manager, you can take a year out and it's fine. It's not like he's going to struggle for a next job. All he has to do is be patient. You got to look at what happens at Barcelona. Is that a place you want to go to if Koeman gets sacked? You got to look at Real Madrid. You look at Bayern. You look at going back to Juve is a possibility. You know what I mean? Like Man United, if things go bad with Ronnie, like he got so many more options that he can wait for than just staying. Instead of going to Arsenal like straight away. So you don't need to rush. You can just take his time.
I think you guys are underplaying the value of being in the Premier League, being in the lights, being in one of the best leagues in the world. Also, when it comes to finances, he didn't spend that much money at Inter. Realistically, we have spent a lot of money this window. He can clearly see that if he comes in, he will get a certain level of financial backing. Now, Terry, what you said was right when it comes to how much will we actually give him false promises, how much will we actually back him. But KJ, I feel like you saying he won't join is the same thing as you saying, oh, Madison won't join. These people are going to be interested in the opportunity of joining a big club like Arsenal.
I never said he weren't interested. I never said he weren't interested. I said he won't join.
Say it again.
I said he won't join because, in my opinion, based on what the way your clubs run right now, your club's a flipping mess. And Antonio Conte just went from Inter, who were in a mess themselves. So why would he just leave a mess to walk into another mess? It makes no sense to me as a person. What
has he done? What has he done in his career? He's gone from Juventus, who is a juggernaut of a team. He left Juventus to go into Chelsea when they were in a mess. He left Chelsea. He left Chelsea after winning a title and went to Inter when they haven't won a title in over a decade. So when you're talking about coming to Arsenal in a mess, his precedent of what he's done in his career says he's always walked into situations that were not so bad.
But look at how they were ran. They may be in messes. I don't think Chelsea have never been in a mess like that, but they may be in messes, but they're still in better positions than Arsenal. You said like, oh yeah, he's going to get financial backing. Look what you spent that money on. Just spending money ain't enough. You need to get him the targets he wants. You need to get him the players he needs. And if Arsenal are not willing to do that, because that's going to take money and actual scouting and actual, the negotiation tactics and not just knowing people from the back alleys, he is not going to go there.
I think on top of that, like I've said, I agree with bits from both of you. I think you're talking to him. I think there's conversation. The way they've focused on no official contact, it's a buzzword to say we're playing it down right now, in my opinion. I think he might reject you because although those other clubs weren't, you mentioned, you're right. He didn't go to Chelsea when they were at the peak of their powers. He didn't go to Inter Milan just after Jose won a treble. But those clubs demonstrated to him that they had the ambition to quickly get back to the top. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to deliver. This is what we're going to give you. And he bought into those ideas. He left both clubs quite quickly after they didn't follow through with those promises as well. So the point I'm making is, if Arsenal convince him, he'll join. But I think Arsenal will run so badly within 3 months he walks. If they don't convince him, it's going to be an embarrassing attempt. It will be embarrassing, no matter what you say as a fan, to chase him and then him go, like with Spurs, it was embarrassing for Spurs not to land him. And then it come out that he had higher ambitions in the football club. That's the worry. If you guys match his ambitions in the meeting, says, yes, we will do A, B, C, D, E, F, G to make us Premier League champions again. I think within 3 months, he realizes that your club are being run by cowboys and he walks away. So, but that could all be the most positive thing to actually happen to Arsenal. The worst thing that happened to happen to Arsenal Football Club in the last 10 years has been those FA Cups, because it's papered over cracks and it's giving everybody false hope. So maybe what you actually need is like a really embarrassing episode to like expose everybody very rawly to the real problems at the football club. Arteta's an issue. Certain players' issue. Edu's an issue. The actual issues are your football club. And do you know what I mean? I'm not going to get into it solely, but like there are a lot of people on socials that talk about not liking the owners and everything else, but they do a hell of a lot on social media to prop your club up. It is unbelievable. And until that's addressed, nothing will change. We've got some super chats here. He spent almost 400 million at Inter, is what Artem said. Yeah, I didn't know that. If that's true, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. Conte spent like 200 million. Someone said 200 million. Now we have to go and take a look at that in a minute. JJ here says, big up KJ, spitting facts out here right now. Any questions you've got, Get those super chat questions or member chat questions in for the panel today. Next on the show, joining us, we're going to get Football Fan Zone on. Ben is here with us. Ben, welcome to the Terrace. Who do you support, mate?
I'm a Chelsea fan, mate.
Lovely. What are you here to say?
Well, obviously about Conte. I think if Arsenal managed to pull off Conte, and it would be a bit of a coup, in my opinion, that would eclipse all their transfers put together throughout the summer, because that would be the best thing they could have done from the summer, was get a manager who knows what he's doing. Conte, yes, he's had a lot of money to spend at Chelsea, had a lot of money to spend at Inter, but he knows how to get the most out of his players. That Arsenal team is not getting it. Arteta's not getting what he needs to get out of that current football team. Conte will give you that. Conte will take that team to the level that it should be at, and maybe a little bit more. Arsenal's current team is probably between 8th and 10th best in the league. With Conte, you get 6th or 7th because he goes 1 or 2 places above where you could possibly be. So that's the biggest transfer you could have possibly done. You'd almost be wasting 150 million quid on transfers. They should have just gone out and got Conte to start with and be done with it.
Yeah, listen, and a bit like this summer with Tottenham, Nuno's their best signing. Nuno is a top-class manager that I think is going to do brilliantly there. And it is what Arsenal are missing. The problem for Arsenal is, though, it's if the practices are not right, you'll know this as a Chelsea fan. As soon as you didn't give Conte what he wanted, it's not even the practices being wrong. As soon as he didn't get what he wanted, he becomes not toxic as such, but the relationship breaks down, and you won an FA Cup, but it wasn't a great season considering how comfortably he won the league the year before. And then at Inter Milan, the club went back on the reason he walked is because the club went back on promises. I think if they'd have told him from the start that we're going to do X this year, but then there's going to be a year or two of austerity, and he knew ahead of time, I think he might have still bought into the plan. It was the fact that they told him something different to what actually come to fruition. An Arsenal Football Club are the kings of selling PR, the kings of selling dreams, the kings of promising and under deliver. And I honestly think he'll join, and in 3 months he walks, and it will be. I mean, if he joins in November, October, by the end of January, he's walking away from Arsenal, irrespective of results. I just think
the thing is, this is Edu's project. This is Edu. Since he's come in, he's had this project of he's going to build this young team. This young team's going to grow together and so on. And Arteta was going to be the man to do it. The problem is, at some point, the owners, if they're any good, the Cronkies, and I don't believe they are, but a good owner would say, "You told me that you're going to run this project, and this project's not working." Edu is going to, at some point, have to throw Arteta under the bus and say, "Oh, my project's fine. It's the manager. So we'll replace the manager." And I think that's where they're at now. I think in order for Edu to save grace, so to speak, and to keep his project alive, he has to convince the owners that it's the managers that's the problem and not the project.
Just a quick one on the project. Even the project of Arsenal and Conte don't go together.
No, they don't.
If you look at what Conte is used to, he likes proven older players who are ready to go now, win now, quality now. Arsenal just spent 150 million on 23 under 23s. That ain't for winning now. Edu is coming out and saying, we're not here to win now. So to trying to get Conte into this project, again, makes no sense because they're not planning for now.
Well, even the players
for 3, 4, 5 years.
The players they bought in the summer, half of them become redundant because all of a sudden Conte comes in, he goes through at the back. He'll go 3-4-3 or 3-5-2.
And that's why my first point of call on this is they're trying to get him. My first thought is he'll reject him because I think when it actually comes down to sitting down and talking and what are we going to do, if they're honest with Antonio Conte, he says no. Mm-hmm. If they lie to him and say, well, okay, yeah, we've done 160 odd mil, but we'll do that. We'll spend 70, 80 in January to give you a couple of what you want. And next summer we'll go to full hog. I think he will learn by being around the environment for 3 months that they're BSing him and he'll walk away because they're so terribly run. And I think that's the point here.
Willian's given up 200 million. Sorry, Willian's given up £20 million contract because as far as he was concerned this isn't the project that I was signed up for.
Mate, it's so true. Listen, Ben, great call, top man. Thanks for coming on the show and having me on stage. Thank you much indeed. Next up, Alex is here. Alex is a Chelsea fan, I believe. Welcome back to the terrace. What do you want to say, Alex?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to speak on the Antonio Conte situation with Arsenal. I don't really think that he will go there. I kind of agree with you guys because I mean, it's proven that Antonio Conte can get the best out of certain players and certain squads. But looking at this Arsenal team, like what really is the best that he can get out of this? Like for example, last season they finished ninth. I mean, is it ninth, right? Or eighth?
Eighth.
We finished
eighth. Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay, cool. Looking at the teams this season, Man City, are going to go again. Man United have brought in Ronaldo, they've brought in Varane, Sancho. Chelsea got a striker, Saul. Liverpool, well, yeah, they're coming back. You look at all the other teams that finished ahead of Arsenal last season, they've strengthened in certain areas. Like, with the quality that they have right now, how far or how higher can Antonio Conte really get them? And if he does come into the squad, right? I mean, if he does come into Arsenal and coach the squad, I feel like there's a bunch of Arsenal fans that have like super high expectations because they know that he's such a good manager. And they're going to be a bunch of upsets that, let's say he does come in, there are going to be a bunch of upsets that are going to happen along the way. And knowing how fans are really reactionary in this day and age, I don't think a lot of, by maybe let's say the second half, maybe later second half of the season, most of the Arsenal fan base will probably be calling for his head anyway. And if he does make it to the end of the season, will they give him money to invest? Will they go for proper targets? And will those targets even want to come to Arsenal? So I feel like with Antonio Conte, I'm sure he's going to look at it and think, no, this is not something that I would want to come into.
Let me say something quickly. I feel like there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts in your statement. But one thing I will tell you is you guys spoke about Antonio Conte's system and how he'd like to play and if you get back. Let me just tell you something. When it comes to a back three, we have all the pieces to play with a back three. We have a bunch of center backs. We have a lot of versatile players that can play either right back and right wing back. And we even have forwards like Bukayo Saka who could even do a job in those positions also if needed be, right? We have senior players in the team that have played at a top level before in Aubameyang and Lacazette who just need to be playing in the right system and I believe that they can go back to hitting their heights that they were at one point. And when it comes to financial backing, if we're going to talk about financial backing and we're going to make fun of Arsenal for spending the amount of money they spent this window with Mikel Arteta in charge, don't you think that we would be doing the same thing again next summer? Because at the situation we're in right now, we cannot be left behind. We need to continue to invest in to a certain degree, or else we will be left behind even further. As you said, everybody else is strengthening. We don't even have the squad to think about adding that extra one piece to win something. At the moment, is continue to strengthen the squad until you get to that point where you can say, you know what, I'm a couple pieces away.
I would say though,
Alex, listen, bro, we've got some more calls to jump onto. Great points raised, mate. Really appreciate the call. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. Thank you indeed. So Jay here says Arsenal finishing 17th this season, just missing relegation. Conte won't answer Arsenal's phone calls, is what JJ believes there. We'll do some more callers here. Remember, we are talking Arsenal's next manager. We are speaking about the debacle between Argentina and Brazil. We're speaking Donny Van de Beek's claims that he wants to be the number 10. The number 10. We need to hear from some Man United fans on that. We've got Robbie backstage, Cozy backstage, Lloyd backstage. I'm going to try and pronounce this right. Thomasin backstage as well. But first up, Fixer's on the show. I wonder if he's cheered up a little bit now. He's been very grumpy, Fixer, when he's been on this show recently. Like, really angry. I think he hasn't had a bit in a while. You know what I mean? I think he needs a bit, doesn't he? He needs a little cuddle. He's a nice little cuddle and a spoon. Sort himself right out, bruv. Fixer's in the house. What you saying, bro? You're on mute, bro.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I said thanks for the introduction, Terry. That's nice. So basically, I want to talk about Donny Van de Beek, right? And listen. You know, the last time I called, everybody's like, "Oh, Fixer hates social, yada 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 yada." I don't hate nobody, man, but you can't separate the fact that his sort of man management is costing a lot of players, you know, their careers. I mean, look at Donny Van de Beek. He's come in, he's played well every time, and he can get a slot in. Not because he's not a good player, but because Social. So this is a theory. Yeah? All the players that will in Manchester United where Social came in, he's sticking with them because in his mind they saved him his job. So if you're not like a world-class player like Bruno, Ronaldo, Cavani, or Varane, it's going to be very hard for you to break into that team, whether you're slightly better than the Lingards and the rest of them or not. And that's just the way I see it, because you see Amad Diallo, he came in, we're all looking forward to this guy having a good season this year, and there's no space for him. He has to go. Even though, in my opinion, he's better than Lingard, I think he's better than Mata, and I also think he's even slightly better than Martial, but, you know, Social has this favoritism, I don't know how to pronounce that word, thing where certain players, no matter what, just can't be overtaken, and it is what it is, man. And that's just my opinion. I don't know if you hate me.
Every manager's got favorites, though.
So you going, KJ?
So every manager's got their favorites. You know what I mean? Every manager's got their go-to guys.
Yeah,
everyone
not at the expense of the actual. I mean, look at it this way. Yeah, his favoritism. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense as such. It doesn't even make sense because Van de Beek is a better player than Lingard, right? So why Social said it himself. If you listen to his press conference, he said if Lingard was fit, he would have played Lingard in the Southampton game, and he didn't even start Donny. So what does that tell you? It's basically trying to say I would have played Lingard over Donny anyways.
Yeah, but who's Lingard?
You're trying to push him for Lingard, aren't you?
Anyway, but the thing is,
go on, KJ.
If he favoured Lingard so much, yeah, why did he let him go out on loan last season?
He went on loan for half the season, mate. Half the season, not even the whole season.
Half the season. Guess what happened? Guess what? Yeah, he was injured and unfit for most of that season.
What about the
he came back and he came back, and guess what? He wasn't seen as good enough, so they let him go out on loan. If it was truly favoritism, like you're saying that he has for Lingard, he wouldn't have gone on loan.
It's not just Lingard; it's every member of that squad that was there when he became manager. Because it's season with Fred and McTominay. He never saw them for any reason.
He didn't like Fred at the start. What are you talking about? He didn't like playing with Fred. I remember Man United fans complaining, why isn't Ali play Fred? Ali play Fred.
Yeah, that was at the start, but eventually when he said when he succeeded.
Let me ask you a question, Fixer. Why would you ignore what the agent said today? He wants to be a 10. Yeah. So if he wants to be a 10, I understand at times. So for me, there have been games where Bruno's not been overtly effective, and it's like, okay, bring Donny on.
Bruno. It's never happening. Forget it.
Okay, so, but he ain't taking over Bruno, and if Bruno ain't playing in that 10 role, I want Pogba there, and if Pogba ain't there, I want Sancho.
He'll play Mata after Sancho, even before.
And that's it. So why? It's not favoritism. For me, I think people call it favoritism to make it a smear on Ollie. I look at it as clearly in training, those players perform better in that role. And they give him no. Do you know why I believe it? Do you know why I believe it? I've got not a fact, but I've got something that's generally considered right. If he was ostracizing, look what's happened to managers in the Prem in the last year or two who have ostracized and mistreated players. Frank Lampard, not giving what's the name of that defender that's gone AC Milan?
Tomori.
Not giving Tomori explanations as to why he's been dropped. You're starting to see these things creep into the Arsenal situation. When managers mistreat, ostracize, and disrespect players, dressing rooms are lost. The one thing, irrespective of Ollie's tactics, approach, interview technique, nobody can claim that dressing room has ever been lost. When Man United look at a point where he's going to lose his job, that team was galvanized for him and run through brick walls for him.
Yeah, but that's my point, because he sticks with the same team.
That isn't your point. Your point is he picks people out of favoritism. What we know through modern day football is when favoritism exists, when ostracizing of players exists, where bullying of players exists, the dressing rooms fall down like Jose Mourinho at Manchester United, full of toxicity because these players care. Man United players came together and slammed the management, not Ollie, not the coaches, the management at board level, when they didn't allow Sergio Romero to go out last year because they felt like he's our friend, he's a professional, and you're now going to basically condemn him to a year of sitting in the stands. and they were
But that's what's happening to Donny right now.
Let me finish my point. They didn't drop down tools in terms of on the field because that wasn't an Ollie decision. It wasn't a Carrick or a McKenna decision. It wasn't a fan issue. It was a board level, and they separate the two. In my opinion, based on what we've seen happen with Lampard at Chelsea, Jose at his last couple of clubs, if Ollie was ostracizing and bullying players and only picking favourites, he would have lost the dressing room like every other manager before him has done. The fact that he hasn't, for me, is the proof I need that everybody's sitting in their feelings. Everybody is overanalyzing the Donny situation. I see it quite clearly now after what his agent has said. He wants to be a 10, and he's third, maybe even fourth choice on that list because he just isn't good enough at this moment in time. He will get chances in the next few weeks. There's 7 games in 4 weeks. He's going to start in 2 or 3 of them, we would hope. He needs to deliver. And if he doesn't come into those teams and put in 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performances, he's got no chance of becoming a regular at Man United. And they're the kind of standards that we all go on about all the time. Standards. Why don't we give Donny Van de Beek and Martial the same standards that we apply to our managers? Why? Because we like them. Everyone that screams standards are the first people to drop those standards when it comes to other individuals. Now, it can't be anything to do with the player, their training standard, their performances, their attitude, whatever. It's always the manager. It's a nonsense to me.
But what happened to picking players on merit? He hasn't done anything to play over some of the guys that have played well. Even Lingard, he went on loan.
Of course he has. Of course he has.
Absolutely smashed
the game he plays.
And Lingard, in my opinion, because he smashed at West Ham, has shown that he deserves a spot to a certain
degree. If Donny goes to West Ham, he'll smash it too. Like, come on, the way they play, West Ham leaves a lot of space for attack. So Lingard has the opportunity to run in defense and stuff. Like, if Donny went to West Ham, he would smash it as well, easily. Like, come on.
Listen, listen, you made some great points today, mate. Really appreciate you phoning up and having your say. Top man, mate, and we'll speak to you soon. That's what we want, ladies and gentlemen, some challenge on the terrace. It's very good. David T here says Donny Van de Beek has been been used as a stick to hit Solskjaer with. He is better than Bruno. Is he better than Bruno? Are we Donny FC or Man United FC? Also, Amazon chose to do a doc on relegation candidates rather than CR7 is what David T says. Look, the point, we'll see what he does in these next few games. The only reason that there is still a stick to beat Ollie with, though, is because there's no trophies. And it's almost, if we don't play Donny all year and he's on the bench and we win the league, I then want to see what's being said. You know, it's going to be an interesting one.
You think you're going to win the league?
Yes, I do. For the same reason that I felt England would get to, I said semis or final in the Euros. We probably shouldn't. Got a good enough squad to, but the manager isn't right. But I just feel it's not based on a footballing reason, really. There's a few footballing reasons. Ronaldo, Varane, I think will score lots of goals this year. It's a feeling based on we shouldn't be there, but I think we might just for that reason. I can't quantify it. I'm not a good enough orator or speaker to formalize it into words.
I respect the confidence.
Yeah, but I've got the same feeling about Man United this season. It's literally uncanny to what I had to England before. I remember when I sat on the stream, said the same thing. I don't know why. I just think there'll be a bit of judge, there'll be a bit of luck, there'll be some really good performances, and England will get themselves. And everyone laughed and said, "There's no way, Terry." I didn't even know I'd have this feeling. And in the last week, it's just stemmed in my stomach, and I'm like, oh wow. And I had no hope for England, even though I thought it's weird. I literally, my brain and my heart are conflicting all day long. But I'm predicting Man United in the league 100%.
This is a polar opposite of last window when you guys were sitting there and like, this has been a failure. We're going to finish outside top 4. I wouldn't be surprised. And now you're saying you're winning the league. Look at how much confidence you can gain from one transfer.
I think Ronaldo changes it massively. Ronaldo was the game changer for me. When I sat there and reviewed it, I went back and I've actually started to look. Thank you, AMT, for that brilliant super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate that, buddy. He says, if the next 3 Premier League games Arsenal win, Arteta stays. If they don't, he still stays. Either way, Conte doesn't come in for me. Thank you. I think with Renato, we're gonna go to Cozy next on the calls to have his say. I think from my point of view, I've been sitting here watching a lot of Ronaldo's performances and games from the last couple of years. And I know he isn't the player that left us in 2009. I'm not stupid. But in so many of those games, I probably counted last season something like 16 goals, which they weren't from like great crosses. They were not from gilt-edged chances. It was almost like without Ronaldo's speed, his reading of the game, his ability to jump, his work rate, they wouldn't have happened. I think in the league, we're going to see an increase of about 10 to 15 goals in the league this season based on what we scored last year. I think it'll be a big increase. And Ronaldo's going to be pivotal in that. And those extra goals are going to lead to the extra points that I think will do it. I just think Ronaldo is going to be this huge difference. Just look at the 2 goals against Ireland the other night. They shouldn't have been goals. The wingers for both those goals just hoofed the ball into the box. And when it was coming down to land, the natural football fan was like, it's going to be cleared because nobody was near it. And then Ronaldo come out of nowhere, swan dive, flew through the air and scores. And the reason those goals were so amazing is because from the trajectory of the cross of the ball and the positioning of Ronaldo as you see the ball coming down, there's no way he should have been there. But he still has at 36 the physical ability to get into positions that most other players in the history of football cannot. That is a game changer at any level of football. It's just, if your team is, we need a new quarterback, we're shy. Oh, we just signed Tom Brady. You could go from being not even thought about as contenders to suddenly being, you're talking about the great, I'm saying he's the greatest quarterback ever. I know you did, but my point is, I didn't think he was going to come. You throw in one of the greatest ever. I've been watching the Last Dance documentary. Look at the difference in that run that the Bulls had in that one season when Jordan wasn't there to the other seasons when he was there. It was the ability, it was the attitude, it was the discipline. And if people want to know the impact that Ronaldo is going to have, watch The Last Dance and what Michael Jordan does. Michael Jordan, and I'm giving you my interpretation, he was a son of a bitch to people. He was horrible to people. He punched like the smallest guy on the team in the face in a conflict in training. But you ask him why, and he's like, I was trying to make sure everybody was willing to work to the level that I do so that we could win things. It was not about being horrible or nasty. It was about elevating. I wanted to see if you could take being bullied, because in real games, you get bullied by opponents, and we needed to see whether you're tough enough. And I'm like, that's what Ronaldo isn't going to punch anyone, by the way, but Ronaldo's going to come in, and in the modern day contemporary, we're not in the 90s anymore, but he is going to come in and raise everybody's games. Bruno Fernandes has done it to a degree. Pogba did it when he came in, but there weren't enough of them. Ronaldo now comes in and no one can challenge him for what he's achieved. If Ronaldo says to any one of our players, what you're doing is wrong, do this, no one's arguing. They're going to raise their game up. And I think all those things being equal, I think it's enough to mitigate Ollie tax. I really, really do. It doesn't mean we like other teams are not brilliant. I'm not writing anybody off and saying they're crap and we're better than the world, but I think we've got such a genuine chance. Jay here says, as a Chelsea fan, I don't understand the Donny signing other than wanting to be a number 10. Why is he not getting a chance, Terry, not even as a sub? I don't think he's showing enough in training. Legitimately don't think he's showing enough in training. But do I want him to get a chance? Yes, of course I do. I want him to play in these next few games coming up. I want him to be given an opportunity. Between Varane and CR7, we'll bring back the winning mentality. Who have Arsenal got? Name one of them. Have you got any winners in your team that you think of as winners, Egal?
When you say, what do you mean? Like
Tierney's the only one I can think of. He's won Scottish
Tierney's won major honours throughout his whole career. Besides that, who else is there? Leno never won anything. Right back never won anything. Center backs never won anything. Midfield, no.
No, Partey. Was Partey there when they won the league?
Was Partey there when they won the league? That was a long time ago. Partey just came.
No, I don't think he was. No,
maybe the season after.
They literally won leagues like sandwich between him, I think. I mean, in that. I'm only joking. We're going to do some more calls here. Next on the show, we're going to go to, I think it's pronounced Kozi. Kozi's coming on the show with us now.
My guy.
Oh, you know him. Cool. Welcome to the show, bro. Who do you support?
Arsenal.
Lovely, my brother. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you want to say.
Hello, Egal. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, bro.
Hello, Terry. I want to
KJ. KJ got Ed.
Hello, KJ. Hello, KJ. That is not right. I want to speak about Antonio Conte, by the way. I think many media outlets are using Arsenal fans. Of course, now we have formed a very big audience, so they're just using us. I mean, just think about the Qatar takeover, and then just put it into context with Antonio Conte. When I look at most of the rumors, there is that publication outlet called Todo Fijajes in Spain. I don't know how. I don't know how they get. I mean, I don't know how they sit and produce these rumors around Antonio Conte, because they were they manufactured it, that we had an agreement in principle. Conte, for sure, if you speak about it, Conte is not in line for the Arsenal job. I think Arsenal fans do want Conte, and if anyone from the Arsenal fan base was given the Edu role, or anyone like the powers to recruit a new manager, they would go for Conte because he's available, or maybe Zidane. But even after Mikel Arteta, I don't think we are going to go for Antonio Conte. We have already established a project that is already in line, under 23s that will develop in the future, and it looks like we are not developing these under 23s to win major trophies. It looks like we are putting together a team that can develop together, have very probably have stars that we can sell, that have a resale value, and that's what they always speak about. Even in the summer transfer window, it was about getting in young players that can develop, increase their resale value and probably sell them in the future. Now, if you look at how Antonio Conte, part ways with Inter Milan, that's it. You're selling Hakimi, you're selling Lukaku. We have no business. I'm gonna go. Now, why would he come to a club like Arsenal, who have already actually, set up that way? That's the first question. That's the first angle I would look at. We have set up that way that if Ben White becomes big, we sell him. We sell him probably in the future. If Martin Odegaard, for example, if Martin Odegaard blows up in the next 2 seasons and Real Madrid come back with 80 million, 90 million, are we going to reject it? Whether we have Conte or not, I don't think so. Then the other thing is, I don't think Arsenal are going to sack Mikel Arteta. Look, the next 4 games in the Premier League, if you look at the games he's been given, apparently, I don't know how true that is, Norwich, Burnley, Wimbledon, that is in the EFL Cup, Spurs and Brighton. Okay, I think he can win those games. I think he can win them. Apart from Tottenham, I think we can win the others. But after that, you have Leicester City, you have Liverpool, you have Manchester United, you have Everton and Southampton, all in the next around 7 games. So that means if we win these 4, and in the next 10 games we fail to win 6, he stays, because he has already fulfilled the requirement that heading into the second international break, you have to get the results. You have to turn things.
Listen, my guy, we're having a few issues with your microphone at the minute in terms of some crackling. But I heard what the majority of you said, bro, and I look at it from this kind of angle. I feel like you're right to a degree about Arteta staying. You should be, all your next 3 or 4 games, you should be winning. But I don't think you will. I think the Norwich game, fans have already done this. And Norwich players be aware of this. Our season starts against Norwich. Norwich ain't having that. Norwich are going to say, screw you. Norwich are they're not a brilliant team. They're predicted to go down bottom, I think. But they're not going to stand there and just roll over and let Arsenal tickle their bellies. And if you don't start that game well, if you're a little bit nervous, maybe if you're a little bit overconfident, because everyone just says this is the game where you win 3-0, your season starts. I'm predicting this now. We're only on Monday. We'll do previews later on in the week. Norwich are beating Arsenal this weekend. They are beating you Burnley-esque last year, like a 1-0 thing. You're losing. You're going to lose to Norwich this weekend. There is too much confidence from the Arsenal camp that you're just going to walk through them like a hot knife through butter. Norwich will beat you. Norwich will beat you. Your team is not playing for your manager. There is no spirit. They want him out. What a way to do it. They will lose. They will lose.
If we lose to Norwich or Burnley, I genuinely think he's gone. I think it's literally like one of those 2 games he loses, it's done, because they know that we're going to probably going to lose to Tottenham at home also, if that ends up happening. So at that point, if we lose 4 of our first 5 games, or even if we win the Norwich game and we lose against Burnley, and then we end up subsequently getting a point or something against Tottenham, I think he's gone. just based off that. There's one game I genuinely believe. I don't think this whole thing about 3 games exists.
Well, I think it does to a degree, and I think it's like you've got to win all those 3 games. You get beat by teams at that level after a bad start, and we'll see what happens. But next on the show, we've got Qasim is here with us now to have his say. Welcome to the show, brother. What's on your mind?
Hi, Terry. All right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that, mate. First of all, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I want to be polite, and I don't want to insult anyone. Look, Arsenal obviously is a big club, but what's happening in a minute is just not great, is it, for them? But I don't think the manager is good enough, and to a certain extent, some players there is not good enough as well. And Terry, I do agree with you to a certain extent about Norwich game. I think I'm seeing this one is 1-1. Norwich last 2 games played very well. They were unlucky against Leicester, and they played very well against Liverpool, and they had a few chances. So I don't know what's going to happen with Arsenal, really. But I don't think, in my opinion, Arteta is not the right man. And I think Arsenal as well, they spend it money, guys. They spend it 150, 160 million for an improving player, They didn't go out there, got players like just to lift the club up, to lift the atmosphere. This has gone for, potential. And I don't think that's no great news, really. I mean, we as a Chelsea fan, if we want to play like Lukaku or even Kai Havertz, this player is proven, they're world-class players. And Arsenal, unfortunately, is gone for potential. And unfortunately, some fans need things fixed right now. And instead going, waiting for 3-4 years project thing. So, yeah, I do agree. I think after the international break now, it's going to be tough run for Arsenal. So I do kind of agree with you, Terry. And thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Terry. I appreciate that.
No worries, mate. Great call. Thanks for coming on the show, mate, and having your say. We'll do some more calls in a minute. We have a super chat here that I've got to put up. It says, Egal, do you and Sonny owe Lee Gunner an apology?
No, because at the end of the day, what I said, I still stand by it. I have the right as a fan to back the manager up until I see that it's untenable. Just because you as an individual don't want him from the start, that's your prerogative. As a fan, I choose to back the person that's in charge of the club until I see for myself that it's untenable. You can come to that conclusion whenever you want to come to that conclusion.
There we go. Next on the show, we're going to go to Lloyd. Lloyd Taylor's here with us now. Let us know who you support, Lloyd.
Yeah, I support United.
Lovely, mate. What you here to talk, Donny?
Yeah, speak about Donny. It's a bit of frustration, really, because the difference between Pogba's agent and Donny's, I think Donny's been patient and been waiting. And I think at the beginning of the season, start of the pre-season, he's got himself fit and ready. And not even if his agent said he wants to play number 10, the fact that he hasn't even been brought on, because against Leeds, we destroyed Leeds. Why not bring him on for 15 minutes in number 10 role? Against Southampton, we're struggling. Get him on to make something different. He didn't play him in number 10. So I know you said something about he's not doing enough in training, but he's had about 12 months. What's he doing wrong in training?
Yeah, listen, the problem we have is none of us know, and it's all opinion. Some people are suggesting that it's favoritism, which the reason I disagree with is because there's too much of a togetherness at the football club for me to believe that's true. Do I believe there's something missing from him in training? Yes, that seems the most logical explanation. But where I still hold a very similar opinion to a lot of people that are desperate for Donny, that use Donny as a bit of a stick, is I want to see him given some opportunities. I would have much preferred to have seen him come on rather than Jesse Lingard in the Southampton game. When we pick our lineups for these League Cup and, the Young Boys game as an example, I want to see a bit of Donny in those games. I want to see him given the opportunity. I'm someone that, although I want to win first, I also kind of want certain debates put to bed. It's why I'm so happy that we've got such a good squad this season. By the end of this campaign, whether Ollie is good enough or not is going to be answered. There is no more, he wasn't back, the squad this, the squad that, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So I kind of, like, whatever the reasons are, Donny needs to be given in the next 10 games. I want to see him get at least 3 or 4 starts in those games to really show us what he can do. That's what I'd love to see.
Just one question, though. If McTominay didn't get injured, do you think he gets sold to Everton?
No. I honestly think that there's no chance Donny was leaving, because there were reports saying that we were going to have no more outgoings anyway, and that's what happened. I feel like Donny's time is coming. I do respect what you said in terms of being patient, because he has. Again, I'm not one of these fans who are overly upset over what the agent has said and coming out and saying Donny's this, that, and the third. But I don't think there was any way of him leaving, because I feel like there is a hole in the squad for him, and that he will fill it over time. I just hope it's soon. I'm someone, I like Donny Van de Beek. I was so happy when he came in, so I want him to do well. So his time will come. His time will come. I think we as a fan base need to just to wait just a little bit longer to see if that comes about, and if it doesn't, then let's start asking the big questions and start like getting the pitchforks out for the manager for not playing this player. But until then, we'll just bide our time. But his time's coming.
Cheers from big fan.
Top man, thank you very much for being so patient. Really appreciate it, bro. We have some super chats here. Strip Bear said, "You suck, but like you do United to Arsenal to Spurs, hate you all, but love ball. Weird, right?"
Yeah.
Is that my brain?
No, that's definitely not your brain.
I get it, though. I get it.
Rapstar here says, "Sorry, Terry, United are not winning the league. Them free headers he was getting in Serie A are done with. United don't create chances like that, much less cross it. You think Ollie is suddenly going to coach that into them?" I think we do put a lot of hopeless crosses into the box, and we're also at the back end of a 5-6 year, not campaign, but where fans have said defending standards in the Premier at their all-time low. So do I believe that the majority of, like Burnley, is he going to score those headers against Burnley? Probably not. Most teams haven't got really good defensive, like dominant headers in the box anymore. So I think he's got a great chance of doing that. And Rapstar, by the way, remember, we've got the big debate tonight. We've got 2 legacy debates tonight at 9 p.m. We've got Christian Pulisic versus Rashford, who's going to create the biggest EPL legacy. And we're also doing Mohamed Salah versus Eden Hazard. You have $90 in the pot to super chat and get your decision in tonight that we didn't put in last night. Rapstar, so make sure you tune in tonight at 9 p.m. We will honor that super chat from yesterday evening, as we always do. Mo here says, "United fans, will you be Ollie out if he doesn't win the Premier League this season after finishing second last year and signing Cristiano Ronaldo?"
Yeah, I was say it depends on how far away we are from the title. If we're like 10, 15 points away from the title, then now man needs to go. Obviously, he's built this squad. He clearly ain't the guy to drive it. But if he's 1 point behind, if he's 2, 3, 4, that's fair enough to say that you challenged like we all want him to, and he deserves to go again. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's all about the amount of points and how far away we are from the title to say Ollie should definitely go. There's a lot of question marks, a lot of scrutiny that he's under this season, which is fair enough, and which is it deserves. It's his third season now. The squad's good enough. It's time for him to show what he's capable of. So give me 4 points, he can stay. Anything worse than 8, I think it's time.
There we go. We're going to go next to, we've got Zane and David backstage, but before that, we're going to go to Robbie Singh. Robbie Singh's here. What are you saying, bro?
Hey, Terry, thanks for having me on. Hey, KJ, Egal, big respect for you as an Arsenal fan for the amount of shit you guys are going through right now.
That is a backhanded compliment. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I heard your points about the Conte and stuff. For a guy who's been lashing out on the board, you seem to have a lot of confidence in him, in the board, the way you said it. Even if he comes in, that makes sense. Like, okay, he'll turn it around. Arsenal will be back again, dead man walking again, whatever you want to call it. But look at what happened at Inter. He made Inter a force. He took Juve out of or pretty much the league. He had all the players in, and when he saw that the board was not backing him, he left. Now, my question to you is, based on what you have said earlier, would you bet your house that your board is going to support him again financially after you guys spent, what, 130 million this window? Because, like, look at what happened at Tottenham. He went there, pretty much they were about to announce it. Ticket sales went up. Next minute, what happened? Not because there was no guarantee that Kane was going to stay. So if he's not going to go to Tottenham, which is like, obviously you guys are a bigger club, but if he's rejected Tottenham, what are the chances that you guys stand? Especially when your board doesn't like to spend too much of money. That's me to you. I mean, I feel bad for Arsenal right now as a United fan. No offense. In regards to Donny Van de Beek, Terry, just quickly, I think I agree with you. It's the training. Otherwise, by now he would have gotten the chance. I think he just needs to keep his head down, keep working. Maybe this season, hopefully, I would like to see him. He's a great player. Probably can fill in better than Fred, but yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
That's it, bro. Robbie, top man. Thank you for coming on and giving us the support that you do. Really appreciate
for having me.
Thank you very much indeed. Come back to you in a minute. We've got a comment here that says bright truth. It says stop lying, Terry. This is why Rance and Saeed are better than you as a Man United fan because of honesty. You know very well that Man United lacks good crossing in games. Mr. Bright Truth, you have just proven my point right. I agree. But the whole point I made is that we hoof the ball in the box a lot, but Ronaldo can still get onto him. I literally didn't claim we're good crossers. I said we're bad crossers. We're not great crossers. We cross it a bit, but we're not great. But Ronaldo can turn bad crosses into good crosses. That's literally the point. Listen, remember, 2 of these, 1 of these, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. Sorry to be rude, but at the end of the day, Saeed and Rance, big up my guys. Love them. But what I'm saying to you is you've just proven my point. We're not great. I do think we put the crosses in the box a lot, but they're not great. But to my point, Ronaldo will get on to at least this. I'm gonna put a prediction: 6 goals this year. Ronaldo's gonna score. They're gonna come from bang average crosses, and you're gonna when the ball goes in, you're gonna go oh, and Ronaldo's coming out of nowhere to go bang and score, and you'll be like, oh yeah, Terry was right. Trust me, bruv. 100%. 100%. Cool. Right now. I mean, literally, I say these things, and then people attack me by saying what I said. Sorry.
It's because people hear what they want to hear, bro. People hear what they want to hear.
Someone said they missed the old intro.
Midnight Vibes that intro's used on. We're going to bring David and Zayn on. Zayn's been back a lot recently. Since Liverpool out of that mud, Zayn's out of the mud. He's back with
Are we talking about the Zayn?
Zayn.
Bro, where have you been?
Zayn is here. We've got David and Zayn coming on for the last final parts of the show here. Let's do it. Yes. What are you saying?
Hi, Zayn.
It's mad. He's alive, isn't it? He's alive.
Yeah, all right. Can I make 2 points about Arsenal before I say my real? I've got 2 statements to make about Arsenal. Karma's a bitch, man. You can suck your invincibles and stick that little gold trophy up your backside, mate. Because, boy, what's happening now? You lot are done. Hey. And the second point, any Arsenal fan who's got a kid, I'm telling it now, it's child cruelty if you put that kid in an Arsenal shirt. I will call it NSPC myself if I see any Arsenal kid on the street with an Arsenal shirt because it's not right, bruv. You can't violate a kid like that. It's not fair, bruv, for their mental health, bruv. So that's my 2 points I wanted to make.
You're saying that, but you got your kids in Thiago shirts, bruv.
Check
your own home. Check your own house, bruv.
You're mad.
This comment here makes me laugh. This comment is my favorite. Zayn is alive. We were running a book because no one knew where you went and no one wanted to take the mick because it's been COVID. We were like, should we laugh at him for not being here? We're like, no, we better not, just in case something's happened to him, right? Because that's a cancelable offense nowadays. Like you laugh at someone for not coming back on, and it turns out
I've been busy, man. I'm like grown ass man.
Hiding.
My daughter had the last year of uni. She got 3 A stars, so blessed for that.
Hang on. No. That's great. That's brilliant. Well done. How fucking old are you to have a kid that's just finished uni?
45. No, she's finished A levels. She's starting uni now, bro. She got 3 A stars, bro.
But still, I thought you were about 25, bruv. That's what
I
I'm saying.
know. Hey, man. Some people got it. I like Egal, bruv. You get me?
Anyway, welcome to your door, by the way. Big up, man.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Bro, I'm nowhere near your age, by the way.
What you saying, David? What are you saying about
I'm good. I just don't understand. I heard people were roasting Graham Potter. He's a class manager.
Exactly.
Wait, who was roasting Graham Potter?
Apparently, someone was roasting Graham Potter. Oh, I wasn't watching. Oh no, Graham Potter's sick. Arsenal should take him. Arsenal should take Graham Potter 100%.
Can I tell you something? You know why I don't agree with that? Because I feel like there's other people out there who've been in the game and have done it at a certain level and have more experience than Graham Potter that could come in and do a better job.
How many people? How many of those people say yes?
Wait, David. Wait, who?
I would get Ralf Ragnick. He's currently in Russia. I feel like that's an attainable person to get in, and he could help Edu steer the ship because he's done a similar job to Edu already at Leipzig. That's one person. If you're gonna go get Ten Hag, I know it's not easy to go to just get a manager from Ajax, but he's another person I'll talk to. And Antonio Conte is also another option. So these are the guys that I would say, you know what, they might not all be attainable, they might not all come, but these are options that are realistic and they are attainable to a certain degree.
Have you hit your head recently? Because them players are not coming. Them players are not coming to your team. Your team's dead, bruv. Aston Villa, Leicester, yeah, fair enough. They could get them players, managers, right? Your team's done. We said this last season, bruv. We said this last season. You'll be lucky to get 8, and then after that, look, you spent 130 on what? Players that no one knows about. It's going downhill, bruv. You're Nottingham Forest. You don't know that yet, bruv. That's you.
Yo, Zayn, I didn't know you didn't have any TVs or anything where you were in the dungeon. But Liverpool are back. That's why you're back? What's going on?
No. Don't watch me, bruv. We were talking about Arsenal here at the moment, and you're delusional. Have you apologized to Lee Gunner yet, you clown? Because, boy, come out with, bruv. You need to apologize for that shit because my man was spitting facts and you're all ignoring it. Like, oh, I didn't say that. Shut up. I thought you were a homer. I'm a homer. I support my team through freaking thing. Oh, suddenly now you switch. You're flip-flopping again, bruv. I don't think I remember this shit you come up with. I'm a homer. I support my team, bruv. I always support my team. And let's get real, bruv. You're just a glory hunt anyway, because back in the day, I'm sure you used to follow France and then Henry and their man come to Arsenal, Invincibles. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, oh, no, I don't want nothing to imagine. Like, forget that. Shut up, bruv. Shut up. You got to find out, you mug. Shit. Come on,
oh my god! I swear you can never tell that he was 45 by the way he's speaking. He speaks like a 22-year-old. Anyways, let's continue. Zayn, you're a nice guy. Don't act like this. It's not you. Who's
Egal, take it. Hold it. Egal, hold it.
L, bro. Big L.
I keep moving.
Do you know what it is though? Because that's literally the opposite to what you were saying all those things to him when Liverpool were in the mud. I love how like Zayn has held on to that for 9 months. 9 months. He sat there at home. I reckon you've been talking. I reckon you've done that in the mirror about 10 times, Zayn. Like 10 times in the mirror. That glass of whiskey in his hand. Like, I've got to get this right. Arsenal fans, how many more managers will leave and be a success elsewhere? Anyways, title winners in 22, championship is going to be amazing. Could any of you conceivably see Arsenal getting relegated? Is that plausible?
Is it plausible? Yes, because anything can happen. Do I think it's going to happen? Nah, I think they'll be fine. They might touch. It'll be squeaky bum time for a little bit, like last year, but then they'll go on. Like, literally, when the pressure's not on, they're flipping like prime Barcelona. They'll go on this mad run and they start saying, "Yeah, see, after Christmas, we were the 3rd best team in the league. So that's next season, we're up there." Nah, you guys, they'll be fine. They're just
before it gets that bad, though, Arteta would be sacked. You'd hope.
Yeah.
I mean, you would, but it's this. It's about the execution of that. You know how long it goes on for. Can the new manager I don't know. I can't see it happening. They actually have too good a squad, and there's too many teams that are worse than them. Does that make sense? It would, but at the same time, I can still see a decade of them being a mid-table team. That doesn't, and that's not even because Arsenal won't spend money. It's because of how good they are or bad they're at running the club. You've got the Manchester clubs, Liverpool, Chelsea, light years in front of them right now. You've got Spurs, who have done really good business this summer, got a good manager. They're moving forward. You've got the Leicesters and even Wolves. Like, I think Wolves might come again with a new manager. I mean, they're so unlucky to be 0-3 in their first 3 games because they played so well. Like, Wolves fans can be encouraged about the future. Arsenal right now, like, imagine you play Norwich and don't score. Like, even if you draw, don't score.
If you can't score against Norwich, it's actually peak. They're so bad.
Jay here says Zayn just killed Egal. Take the L, bro.
Yeah,
Look, that's the football terrace, man. No, Egal can take it. Egal is a top guy like that. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of the apologies, Lee Gunner is back on the football terrace 4:30 tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. He's joining me for a show. He's going to be here tomorrow talking all things Arsenal, Premier League, and all that jazz. So many questions.
You get Egal on, so Egal can apologise properly.
Listen. One thing I say about it, if Egal ever felt like he wanted to apologize, he would go directly to him. I would never do something like that.
For the record, I've already spoken to him the other day.
I know, but I'm just saying, we're not about making someone come on and say sorry for a football opinion. I'm not. That is not what the terrace does.
No, but unless you're eye test.
Zayn, don't ever call me a mug again for dumb. You can talk football, but don't ever call me a mug again. That's some bullshit.
Wait. Of all the words that he called you, it's not exactly.
Do you want actually serious question, right? Egal, for you.
On football? That's cool.
Egal, let's talk about football, right? Serious question.
All right, what's up?
In what mind do you think, right, that any decent player is going to come to Arsenal and wait 2 years for you to get back into Europe, whatever?
Okay,
because, let's be honest.
Look at it this way.
Because you lot are gassing Odegaard like he's the next coming. Where would you let him go because he was shit?
Stop. 1 second. Did you think Mane was the player that he was going to turn into? Probably not. Did you think
you've got a manager that can make a Mane? No, you haven't. So what are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the manager. I'm not talking about the manager. You came here to challenge me.
Mane and Klopp made him decent. Yeah,
bro. I don't get why are we having a one-way conversation? Let me speak. Okay, calm down. First things first, you do not expect Mane to be the player he was. You did not expect Robertson to be the player he was. You did not expect Salah to come back and be on fire the way he has, almost being a Premier League great the way he's scoring at this level. So let's be real. You can buy players for lesser amounts that come in and absolutely smash it and hit the ground running. Jota,
so what made them good? What made them good, Egal, in your opinion, those players you called out?
What do you mean?
Did they just magically fall out of bed and become good players? Or
no, you obviously need both. You need the manager and the players. But at the end of the day, you're talking about what players are going to come to you. I'm saying Arsenal historically have not bought in. Historically, we've never bought in superstars. We've always turned them into superstars. Look at Anelka,
one manager.
Look at these players. Obviously, you need a manager. I'm not negating that, but I'm saying this: when you constantly talk about this. You need to remember that. Yeah, Alexis Sanchez left to Manchester United and said he wanted to leave the next day. Doesn't mean you always leave and go on to better things.
Yeah, but he didn't want to go back to Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean? He already left Arsenal. Why would we take him back?
They all left to go. You make stars to leave. Bro.
Listen, this is not. You guys can banter Arsenal because we're
in Arsenal. Is that point? Listen, guys.
The reality situation is Terry. Yeah. You can find players for lesser prices, and they can turn into stars. Doesn't matter if you have a good manager or not. We've seen players turn into stars.
Yeah, they can, but you're negating two massive facts. One, the manager. The other is that your club was run impeccably well when you were finding the Vieiras and the Henrys. And interestingly, I kind of refute this. Clubs that buy unknown players were only unknown because we only had the newspapers and teletext to give us information back then. Because of the internet now, like I'm telling you now, there was a Chouameni and there were Camavingas 20 years ago, but none of us had heard of them because the internet didn't exist. So this whole thing now about we don't, the buying superstar thing I get from the sense of you didn't buy Thierry Henry when he was at his pomp, when he was at his absolute best. The irony is though, the reason that Arsenal started to fall behind their major rivals is because those clubs would buy young up and coming Thierry Henrys, but also buy some superstars. You have to move with them on. Look at Liverpool now. Why have all Liverpool slightly fallen away again from the Chelseas and the Cities? Because Liverpool did this thing where they bought great potential and turned them into stars. But now to maintain at the top, you need to buy stars instantly. They're not doing that. They're going for the model of buying players to bring up through the ranks again. It's a longer process to get back to the top. But at least they're being run pretty well doing it. Anyway, 9 p.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing their first legacy debate on the football terrace. Mo Salah versus Eden Hazard. Christian Pulisic versus Marcus Rashford. It's going to be done like the tiering systems that we do on the terrace. So make sure you tune in and back your guy. We have a serious line. I haven't even picked everyone, the amount of DMs I've had. But we've got Lewis. We've got a good couple of Liverpool fans. We've got Hussam coming on. And we've got Lewis from Give Me Sport. I've got to go through the Chelsea fans that are coming on. We've got a really good panel tonight. It's going to be a fire show. 9 p.m. tonight on the football terrace. Now Arsenal are playing over overs for over the odds for average players is what I've been. Yeah, absolutely. Not being run right. Absolutely. Lots of love and support here. Love the channel and everyone who takes part. Loved all the comments in my hat. I own what?
You own a hemp farm. Come on, you blues.
There we go. I was about to read it out, guys. Am I going to say something? I didn't know what it was, and say something silly Billy. But there we go. Everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back in a couple of hours' time. I've already been gym. I'm going to go for a run. I'm trying to get in shape. Egal, David, my co-host today, KJ, thank you. Man like Zane is alive. He's well. He's back on the show. Until next time, I don't know if Have Hope's coming. iTest might be coming on. Have Hope hasn't responded to me, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of hours. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and we'll see you all soon. Peace.